what I'm hearing from you is this feeling of anxiousness is the most pressing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember from your initial consultation, and I said, okay, identify one thing that you would like to go away, and that was the one thing that you mentioned, this feeling of anxiousness.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your breathing right now?
It feels shallow.
Okay.
And I've noticed that's part of the anxiety as well, that it's like I'm not able to take in the full breath that I need to get, or like something is weighted on my chest that I'm not able to expand fully and get all the air that I need to.
Let's test your swallow.
Okay.
Now, do you have an opinion about how your swallow feels?
Well, after you had mentioned the last visit about it being loud, I paid more attention when I'm swallowing, and it seems like I have to take a couple swallows to get everything down.
Okay.
And it is loud.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things that I've noticed since the last visit.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's check your swallowing again.
I didn't hardly even hear it that time.
Tell me about your chest. How does it feel?
It doesn't feel as weighted. Still a little bit, but not as heavy. Kind of like walking outside on a brisk morning where you can kind of, the cold air hits you and you can kind of take it in.
At the beginning of this process, if you could have rated your anxiety level on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 just being a full-blown panic attack, what number would you have put there?
Maybe a 4 because it was still under my control,
Okay.
so to say.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And now?
Maybe a 2.
Are you feeling a need to control it?
Yeah.
Okay. And describe the way in which you're controlling it.
Trying to take deeper breaths and trying to be more physically aware.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm hearing you make a correlation between anxiety and shallow breathing. And so it's almost like which comes first, chicken or the egg.
Right.
The shallow breathing, then the anxiety, or the anxiety from the shallow breathing. But from your perspective right now, what's happening to breathing?
It's less effort to breathe.
And can you tell where that less effort is? In other words, where was the effort before? If you could point to a place where you felt the effort.
Oh, here in my chest. Again, it felt weighted. Like I really had to force to expand and get a good deep breath. And it doesn't feel as weighted. Almost like I'm not breathing through a filter anymore. Just I'm more at the airflow.
Okay.
As to it being as restricted.
Okay. And anxiety, you started at what I heard you say was a 4.
At the moment, maybe a 1. I mean, it's less.
Are you still, you said earlier that it had gone down to a 2, but it was taking conscious effort to keep it at a 2. What's happening there now?
Less of a conscious effort. I mean, there's still a little bit of an effort, and I don't know if it's kind of like the going around checking the checkpoints type thing. Okay, is it doing this? Is it doing this? If that's maybe still a little bit of it. But I don't have the most constant, okay, gotta stay focused, keep the breathing deep, those aspects of it. Just trying to be a little more, I don't even have to be as conscious about the airflow that's coming in. Like before, I felt like I had to weight it on my chest. Like I really had to think about taking air in, and now, well, kind of like I was behind a filter, and now it's like air's flowing in real easy. Like the weight's been lifted off of my chest.
How are you feeling in terms of anxiousness right now? Anxiety?
Not really at all. I mean, at the moment.
Okay. So, if I can kind of trace back how this process went, you started out saying that your anxiety level was a 4 out of 10. And that you were able to keep it at a 4 as opposed to higher by paying attention to your breathing. And then it went down to a 2. And you commented that you're still paying attention to your breathing to keep it at a 2,
right,
rather than having it go higher. And now?
I don't feel anxious at all. Not really even, not even trying to keep check on it, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Things seem pretty calm and in a good place.
Tell me a little bit about that most recent experience you were just sharing about.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago, this past Wednesday. I started into an anxiety attack. I had ran out of the medication, and I got to the point where I had to leave work. And on my way home from work, it just kept progressing. Trying to concentrate on the breathing didn't help, and I went ahead and went to the ER. I was trembling, shaking. I couldn't hardly, I had to really force to get my words out, and even trying to write was all I could do to force to get that out. It was like I couldn't, like I was trying to get my last breath. Like I just really had to work to continue to keep breathing, it seemed like. And once I got to see the doctor about 3 hours later, I was starting to come down from it. I went home, and still, all through the night, I was still trying to get back through to a calm place. And the next day, and 3 or 4 days, maybe even 5 days later, I would have pains in my chest, and like all my muscles were extremely tight. And if I tried to eat anything that was solid, I couldn't eat much of it because I just felt like I was going to choke on it. I ate a lot of yogurt and things like that to keep protein, but I tried to eat a sandwich and I just ate less than half of it and I had to throw it away. It felt like it was all setting in my throat, or like I was going to choke on it. And I've since kind of gotten over that, so I don't have that feeling. But that's been part of the anxiety attacks, I know. It's just trying to force anything down is difficult. And I get that part of it is the dry mouth. It gets really dry. And try to swallow, it's kind of like the tongue wants to almost stick kind of to the back of the throat, because of the lack of moisture, and they're not fun.
But I think now you're starting to see the correlation between swallow function,
Oh, most definitely.
breathing,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety.
Yeah, it's, even before it was being consciously aware of trying to take your breath, get your breathing, get everything you can, and now it's kind of reversed. That it's like, hey, look here, look at all this air that's coming in. It's the reverse of trying to concentrate on pulling enough in, that you're concentrating on all of this that's coming in. So that's a nice thing.
And if you could pinpoint in your body where you feel this increase of air coming in other words, what has eased up to allow this air in now, where it wasn't before?
Just right through here. It's kind of like I can imagine, I've never had an oxygen mask before, but kind of like I can imagine I have an oxygen mask on and this air is just flowing in. And it seems very plentiful.
Okay.